Hello and welcome to The Life You're Made For. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Penny. Often our world feels reactive, confusing, and chaotic. On this show, we're going to slow down together. Take a breath, listen, and learn. We'll be joined in conversations with influential thinkers who will help us make new connections, understand our unique potential, check the beliefs we hold, and learn how to overcome unexpected challenges. I know that each and every one of us holds our own inner clarity, confidence, and courage, what I call 3C living and leading. So let's go after it together. I'm cheering you on. Welcome, Darren Penny. So good to see you here on my screen.
Oh, thanks. Once again, we are talking virtually.
We are talking virtually, yes. And we got a lot of great comments from our last conversation, which is why I wanted to bring you on again. I think there's so much you have to offer, but I think that you know the interviewer pretty well. So you know ways to pull things out in me too, and I appreciate that. And as usual, I think I'm going to try introducing you this time, and you can say who you are and what you do, but I'm going to start. Darren, I've known you professionally. I want to speak to that. Professional fundraiser, very successful for years of doing that, has an MBA, doctorate. And these are probably things you would never say, Darren, so I'm going to say them for you.
I will not.
You will not, yes. So I'm going to say all the professional stuff. Very successful, one of his the top associates in his company where he works nationwide, supporting nonprofits that are trying to really work with their donors in how to give things away. But he really works on the finance side that supports an intelligent conversation that does two things. And this is what I've admired about you. It really helps them take care of their money and to leave it to the charities of choice. And then it also helps them feel cared for. One of the biggest things as we're facing end of life is not just what are we going to do with our money. We all know we can't take it with us, but how is it going to care for the people that we love that we've left behind? And so you do such a beautiful job of just caring for people and caring for their hearts and helping them, appease them. And I've watched you work with families that are leaving behind a special needs child, who are leaving behind a spouse, leaving behind maybe nieces or nephews or other people. And you've heard it all. And you go to the heart of the matter, but you also have that head space too, where you know how to help support it. So that's my big fat introduction of you, Darren Penny. But what would you like to add? Tell our listeners a little bit of who you are.
Oh, I think, that stuff's it's there, but it's not how I see or define myself. So a husband, 32 years, two kids, young adults, 20 and 22. And I love that I have a front row seat to those three lives, wife and two kids. They are people I enjoy spending time with, watching. And that's it.
Okay, so we're starting a new series. It's all about relationships.
It is.
And of course, you came to mind for so many reasons. You're probably one of the longest relationships I personally have been in. And we've gotten a front row seat to each other's lives. And we both really admire and respect each other and love each other and still like each other. That's pretty cool. Since
Love
we've got an 18.
And like.
Yes, love and like. Yes. And I think also this idea that we both really value relationships. We have a lot of long-term relationships in our life. We've had seasonal relationships in our life, but I think there's a sacredness. We both feel so grateful to the relationships that we kind of pass through with. And some of them stay for longer than others, but we always have this, feels like kind of holy ground or sacred ground that we get to intersect with certain humans at certain times in our lives. And always then feeling that joy and the privilege when they get to stay longer than we even anticipated. So I think we share that common ground for just so much appreciation. I mean, one example is we leave our Christmas cards up till April, Easter?
I think they came down the last week of April.
Yes. So, and it's because we love looking at all these beautiful people in our lives. We love just praying over them. We love just sending them positive vibes. We love the richness of people that we get to, whether we get to see them daily or whether we get to see them annually or every 10 years. Just the fact that we have had the privilege of knowing these people, we feel is just such an honor in our world and our life. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, because I think it could help us talk about relationships and why it's all about relationships. And then one more thing, and I promise I will let you speak, Darren. but it's
I
this
don't need to. This podcast is going swimmingly.
But I think of the work we do, right? So even though you're an estate planner for nonprofits and work with them across the country, and the coaching that I do is leadership coaching and trusted advisor, it's really comes down to the person who's sitting across from us. Do they feel cared for? And how are we supporting even the contractor writing to making sure that they are heard and seen and valued? That's the heartbeat of what we do. It just happens to come on the face of, for me, coaching, and for you, consulting, and being able to step into that space and really not only meet the person where they're at, but really understand where they're coming from, which takes some work. And you and I both just love what we do because we get to intersect at really powerful places in people's lives. And it's a privilege. And that's the professional side. And then the personal side, we have a lot of rich relationships in our life that we work hard to cultivate and nurture. So I guess I will hand it off to you. What do you look for in relationships? And you can take it from the professional side or personal or both.
Yeah. Oh, I love that because I guess whether we have ever thought about it or articulated, we are looking for something. Every one of us is looking for something in a friendship, in a relationship of any kind. We're looking for something. And what are we looking for? As you were just saying that, something came to mind. And I didn't even know this was a thing until, I don't know, several years ago. But I heard this term, and it's a great term. People who hold our story. That's a term that I learned. People who hold our story for us. And I have a couple of friends that come to mind that hold story well. What does that mean? It means I share something with these guys, and chances are they're going to follow up with me eventually and check in. Why? Because they care. And they remembered what I shared. They remembered not necessarily all of the details and specific facts, but they remembered the spirit of what I shared. So one of these buddies, I might share something where I talk about, I'm really struggling with some balance in my life right now. I feel like I'm just giving too much time to the grind. And my soul is suffering because I'm not getting outdoors enough. I'm not spending enough time in nature. I'm not taking care of myself well. And I'm just grinding too hard, and I need to move the pendulum back. And I've had that conversation and thousands of other conversations about meaningful things. And to have a friend or a couple friends or a handful of friends who, when you share things like that, will circle back. And one of these buddies will circle back, and he might see me a month later and go, "Hey, how's that going? I know you talked about trying to carve out some more place to take care of yourself and your soul and a little less of the work grind. How's that going for you?" And you know what my reaction is when they ask me? I'm shocked. Like, oh my gosh, you remembered that? I might have even forgotten that I shared that with them, but they remembered. And I've learned that term. They're holding my story well. And they hold my story, and they're curious, and they care, and they're just following up out of a very genuine desire to say, "Hey, how's that going? How are you doing?" I'm impressed when people can do that. And let me follow that up with a confession. I think I have not always been the best at holding other people's story well. And I think sometimes people share things with me, and I'm present, and I'm listening, and I'm asking, but I move on at the end of that time that we were together, and what they shared with me kind of just falls away. And when I see them again in a month, it's a new, hey, how's it, new connection. And I've learned from these guys that hold story well how to follow up better.
Well said.
I'm challenged to do that better. A couple of my buddies do it exceptionally well. And yeah, I want to just identify that as saying, hey, I think that's something I've learned to look for. And I also realize sometimes I can suck at it myself and I want to
Mm-hmm.
be better. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be a better friend that holds people's story well.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think part two of holding it well is caring, asking the right questions, but not overdoing it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not over functioning, not, following up every day for the next week with a text that says, hey, remember to take care of yourself. Not that. I don't want that. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
anyone to take care of me,
Mm-hmm.
but just a friend who cares genuinely and
Gosh, I
remember.
love that. Holding a story well. It makes me think of, I just got back from a walk from a 20-plus-year-old friend, and we have woven in and out of each other's lives and knew each other from college days in LA area and lived down there for a while and then moved up here. And both of us ended up moving up here in Northern Cal. Boy, we've been through a lot together. And
Mm,
we were probably together maybe an hour and a half, but there were so many things that she referenced in my
mm,
life. And it felt so good to be seen and known for the duration of several seasons,
mm.
before kids, during kids, after kids, before marriage, after marriage. I mean, she's seen me through a lot of the biggies.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and there's a richness there that doesn't need words,
Mm,
but occasionally we'll reference something that we know about each other's life. And it just feels so good to be known. And so I'm with you. I like that
mm.
definition. And I'm with you too. I want to make sure I'm holding other people's stories well
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What do I look for?
Mm-hmm.
I think also just genuineness.
Mm,
You know, I think I think early in life we're a little more prone to having a wide ocean of friends, maybe more surface level,
mm-hmm.
and maybe that's just kind of a little more extroversion group of folks too. And I would tend to be a little bit more wanting to go deeper with fewer friends.
Mm,
And I like people, love being with people, but I like being known and I like knowing folks and I like
mm,
going deep. And I think what I'm looking for in part is just genuineness.
mm-hmm.
Just be
Mm-hmm.
yourself. I don't want you to be anything. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want you to be gregarious. I don't want you to be ruminating. I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to be joyful. I want you to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is. All of the above, any of the above, none of the above. I want you
Mm-hmm.
to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be genuine and see where this journey of connecting takes us. And
Mm,
and I think with that, you and I both have friends who we've been friends with for many, many years, like you referenced.
mm-hmm.
And I have some friends that, hey, I thought we would be a little deeper friends, but I met them about 3 years ago, and hey, I haven't seen them in about a year, and I guess they're okay, and I'm okay with that. So,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they were a friend for a 2-year window of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
those things are normal.
Mm-hmm.
They're normal,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no shame, there's no failure, there's no blame, and they're normal.
Yes.
And to be a
Mm-hmm.
friend with ease, who
Mm,
puts people at ease. Have you ever had a friend who doesn't let you have ease?
mm-hmm.
I have,
Mm-hmm.
and man, it's nerve-wracking. And sometimes we have to do something about that. And
Yeah, I call that the tap dancing. You feel like when you're showing up, you're just constantly like, what do you want now?
yeah,
What is it I'm supposed to do to make you happy and keep us happy?
yeah,
And I think we do play those games a little bit more in our younger years, or it kind of triggers into a sense of wanting to be needed and wanted or loved. But once we start kind of getting our own beliefs
hmm
around that and our own confidence and security around that, we realize I don't want to do this kind of tap dancing, and I don't want to
yeah,
make anyone else do this either. So to be a friend with me, it means ease, genuineness,
yeah,
holding each other's stories. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Makes me think of what our kids are going through too. Just 20-year-old and 22-year-old. It's such a rich opportunity for us to kind of learn again vicariously, isn't it, Darren?
Yeah, yeah.
We're walking through relational dynamics, talking to our daughter this morning of knowing that she needed to let go of this relationship, but feeling still so confident in her decision,
hmm
but still feeling sad because she still missed the relationship. And
mm
she, in remember her little wisdom and her rules for life, I
Oh
think when
yeah.
she was 15, she said to me, she saw me sad about a relationship. And she said, Mom, you can miss somebody without wanting them back in your life.
Wow.
And I know, I never forgot that. And I go, where did you get that? I think she joked something like, well, I heard it from a song on One Direction or something, but it was still a little sage. You knew when to use it, you know?
Life philosophy by pop culture.
Yes. So I returned the favor and gave that back to her today. And I said, hey, a little wise 15-year-old, I know you're 22 now, but a little wise 15-year-old told me this one time. So I'm going to hand it back to you. And she's like, you're right, Mom. I love that. And I think we're all always navigating relationships. Yeah. It's just a little bit more new when you're moving into the adulting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of nice to be a little more seasoned in it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Anything else?
Well,
as you think about that?
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest and transparent and vulnerable here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the raw edge of some things I'm learning right now in relationship. I just kind of got called out, so to speak, on it last night. And you know, when you hear truth and you're like, okay, that's truth.
Yeah.
But somebody said to me, I was sharing, hey, you know, I'm struggling right here. And I shared this with a handful of people just last night. Good, close, trusted people.
Yeah.
And one of them said, well done. And they said, that must have been hard for you because you're always comfortable being the man who shows up for other people and kind of being armored up, buttoned up. And it's really nice to see you drop the buttoned up front and be vulnerable and be out there with, hey, this is hard. And when they said that to me, I appreciated it, but I also resented it because I felt like they were reading my mail. They were right on. They were true. But I didn't really resent it. It just was close to home. And it was like, you know, that is truth. And I'm very comfortable showing up to help other people. And I'm not comfortable showing up asking for help.
Yeah.
And being the person who's the man down.
Yeah.
That's a stretch for me. And that's a new area of growth for me. I'm not straight on it. I'm not pushing that away. I'm leaning into that saying, you know what? You're right. I appreciate you bringing that up. And I want to grow in my comfort. And occasionally, not always, but occasionally, we're the man down.
Yeah.
And we have to let ourselves be helped, rescued, and attended to by others.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's uncomfortable for me.
Oh, I know it is, honey.
I need it.
I know. I've watched you. And I think even like I remember you talking about you take these men hiking annually, and it's a rigorous hike. It's up in the Yosemite Mountains.
The Sierra Nevadas. Yeah, right.
Sierra Nevadas. Yeah. And I know your philosophy is you go at the pace of the slowest person.
Always.
But I also know your secret fear is, oh God, I don't want to be the slowest person. Right?
You had to say that out loud?
I did have to say that out loud because if you're going there to be vulnerable, how about I help you a little bit?
Oh, good grief. No, you're right on. And I don't know what that is. I think a part of it is I want to be there to make sure the last man never finishes alone.
Yeah.
And the last man never feels like I can't keep up. And the last man never feels like something's wrong. No, it's not. I'm with you. We're gonna get to this final destination together. And it's a haul. It's a 1-day backpacking haul that starts at 7 a.m. and doesn't finish until almost 12 hours later. It's a long uphill haul, many, many, many miles and lots of elevation gained and lost and regained. And it's punishing. You can be the most fit guy on the trip and you're gonna pay. There's some pain you're gonna have to tolerate. So yeah, I want to be there with the last guy and just make sure that, yeah, we finish together. We will
Mm-hmm.
see that final destination together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of leads me to my next question. You're already answering it, but what are some areas you have needed to level up in your relationships to both maintain and cultivate long-term relationships and attract the type of people?
Ooh, level up and maintain. I think for me, leveling up and maintaining friendships, oh boy, I kind of have a smattering of thoughts there, but one of them is I trust the process.
Mm,
There's no perfect relationship out there. There's no
mm,
perfect friend out there. I can't meet the perfect friend and I can't be the perfect friend. It
mm-hmm,
just doesn't exist.
mm-hmm,
What I can do is say, hey, this is a great friend. We've been walking many, many miles together, and I trust the process.
mm,
And there might be a hiccup in the road. And to have the ability to speak truth and have the ability to receive truth
mm-hmm,
when needed,
mm-hmm,
I think that's the long-term commitment that
mm-hmm,
is elusive for a lot of us. Like some of us, and I've had some of these relationships where something comes up, you're like, oh, I don't know if this, and I'm not really into this.
mm-hmm,
And then you have to take an inventory and say, no, I'm going to contend for this friendship. This is too good
mm-hmm,
of a friend to just say, I'm going to let us drift apart.
mm-hmm,
So I've had to, go and have a conversation and say, hey, I like hanging out with you, but I need to bring something up.
mm-hmm,
And to do that by affirming what you like about them, affirming the relationship, affirming the outcome you're looking for, and stating the truth of, hey, this is something I'd like us to look at in our friendship or see
mm,
if, am I reading this right? Checking.
mm.
Just having honest, authentic connections and understandings and conversations, and relationships are not static. They are dynamic.
Yeah.
Very dynamic.
Well, it's something I've always admired about you, and I've learned that from you as well. I think you've learned how to have the uncomfortable and difficult conversation, but you seem to have a wisdom of when it's worth doing,
Hmm.
both personally and professionally. I've watched you engage with that with coworkers and with clients, and I've watched you engage with that with your personal friendships. I guess I'm wondering, is there one example that's coming to mind? A positive one. We have enough trauma, I think, all of us, where we have hard ones. But I would love for you to share a little bit of some examples, maybe in a personal realm and in a professional realm, where
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
had some uncomfortable conversations and it ended up making you level up, help them level up. And I think that's what we're after in relationships, right? It's always two
Yeah, yeah.
sided. And when it stops being two sided, is it really a relationship? I have to ask
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, I think I have a friendship with a particular friend who it's a good friendship. We're not besties or anything. It's a good friendship though. And we were connecting recently, and I would say we're good but casual friends.
Mm,
See each other once every couple of months or so, and various levels of depth there. We end up talking a lot about business and family and that type of thing. But they wanted to kind of really take it to the next level and have more regular routine get-togethers that were going to last like 4 hours.
mm,
So I'll just say, I mean, basically, the invitation was to play golf regularly on a regular set schedule with this friend.
mm,
And I initially said, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that." And he was pretty persistent. It still popped up on my calendar as a meeting invitation.
yeah, that's right.
And I just said, hey, just going to let this float. And then sure enough, something came up on my calendar and I couldn't accept it. So I had to say, hey, can't do that.
Hmm.
And the next month, again, something came up. Sorry, I can't do that. And then I just reached out and said, hey, like I said initially, I just don't think that's going to be a workable plan for me. I'd
Mm,
love to play golf with you. Maybe we can do that once every 1 month or once every couple of months. But I just wasn't able to do it with that particular friend weekly.
hmm.
And trust me, I'd love to play golf weekly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it just took a conversation, and I think we're okay. I
Mm-hmm.
think we're okay. I think there was some resetting of expectations there, and we're going to get together and have a meal,
Mm-hmm.
and that's already on the getting on the calendar. And a meal can last an hour, hour and a half, and it's not a 4 or 5 hour commitment once a week.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
just having that honest, let's talk about how we can meet. I
Mm.
can't do that, and you probably don't want to be strangers, and I don't want to be strangers either. But what does it look like for us to maintain this friendship?
Almost kind of negotiate expectations together.
Yeah, expectations, honesty,
Mm-hmm.
and affirming the relationship, and then redirecting to
Mm.
where you want to end up. But I
Mm.
think if we start with the redirect, it feels like someone's being rebuffed and pushed away.
Mm.
But affirming first, and then saying, "Hey, but we could possibly do it this way."
Mm-hmm.
The affirmation and the redirection, I think, is a good strategy. That's worked well for me. Yeah.
It feels kind.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't we
Yeah.
all want kindness?
Don't we know?
Especially when
Yeah.
we're trying to reach out and cultivate a friendship.
Yeah.
And I think that's a gift. I've seen people do it. And frankly, I'm going to say I've done this. I don't want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like disappointing. You are a little more comfortable with that than I am. I don't like to disappoint
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
make people feel rebuffed. And so I'll maybe do more of, or used to more of, well, maybe, oh, that's a great idea, but I don't really give a yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that feels unkind if we're not
Right.
honest with it. But I didn't quite know how to do it. And I think as I started working more with that, just saying, oh man, I love that you want to do this with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you want to have a friendship with me. Either let's talk about what that looks like, or if you already have an idea what that looks like and it doesn't sync with what I look like, then I owe it to you to tell you what it would look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people really love that schedule. It helps them feel loved. I think you and I are both, and that's probably why we've been friends and married for so long. I think we're both really comfortable with if it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. There's important things we want to schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the most part, I laugh when people want these weekly meetings with you. I'm like, I don't even have a weekly meeting with them.
Yes, you
Right?
do. You have a daily meeting with me.
I don't have a weekly 4-hour golf date with
No,
you.
we don't. We don't
You
have
know what I
weekly
mean?
4 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're more comfortable with certainly we connect every day, but
Yeah.
we're more comfortable with like, let's just let it evolve. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more personality, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Going back to maybe an ease.
Yeah.
And some people feel really loved when it's actually hard on the schedule. And so,
Yeah.
and you do want to kind of compromise with that, realizing that some people that makes them feel loved. I can't do the 4-hour thing, but I can do maybe a monthly dinner meeting. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours and it's half the time and it's monthly.
Yeah.
Then it gives them what they need to kind of feel loved and cared for in the relationship.
Yeah. 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 Well, you mentioned professionally too, and I do
Yes.
have one that just came to mind professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a funny blend between personal and professional. If there's overlap sometimes, almost always there's some type of overlap.
Mm-hmm.
But professionally, one of the things I've learned is to create some systems, and I have some pretty good systems that allow me to run my business
Mm-hmm.
in the way I like.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally somebody comes up to my systems and they don't like them. And they start trying to redefine my systems for the way I'm going to work with them. And it happened just yesterday in the middle of a very full day of many appointments. Somebody emailed my assistant and said, I can't meet with Darren at this time because I have this in my life. So I'm going to ask Darren to overfunction today and recalendar me at this time.
In the same day, right?
In the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So we responded and said, okay, we can do this. And here are the 2 possible times that we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And no reply, no reply, no reply. And then we got an email later yesterday. And it's like, hey, I can meet after all. And I'm like, that window has already been taken off for you. That's allocated for something else at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was all said and done, I got done with my day yesterday and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 emails from this person. 6 emails. And it was, I need this. I'm here. Can you do this? I'm waiting for you here. We didn't get this from you. And I just, at the end of the day, I read them all and I just kind of laughed. And I said, I'm so glad I didn't read my emails all day and try to jump through every hoop.
Yeah.
So late last night, when I was in a better place, I responded to the last email they sent. And I said, wow, I'm sorry we weren't able to connect yesterday. As a reminder, here's how the meetings with me go.
Yep.
And I just laid out the system again. We set up the meetings this way. If you can't meet, you need to do this and this, and I'll see you next month. And they replied. And I just had to kind of shut down all the ways. You tried to access us this way, this way, this way, and this way yesterday. None of those are going to work for you. Reminder, here's the system. Here's what you can expect. And this was a professional relationship.
Sure.
So I just kind of put them back into the system and was not snarky, wasn't in any way condescending to them, but just lovingly closed off all the new ways they wanted to relate and said, here's the way it works.
I love that.
Yeah. And if they push on that again, I would just say, hey, if we're not able to be compliant with how these meetings work, it's probably going to be best if we don't work together.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say my way or the highway, but there's just a certain way some things have to work. There's a way the world works. A good friend taught me there's a way the world works. And when we try to kick up against it, we're going to pay a price.
Yes.
So there's a way my business works. And when people kick up against it, probably not a good fit for me then.
Something we've talked a lot about is relating styles. And we were introduced to this topic, I think, early on in our marriage. And it became a context to better understand our choices for how we want to relate and how we are watching others relate to us.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to that. Like, what is your relating style?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but I'll take the question the way I'm hearing it.
Sure.
It was broken down for us, and I'm sure there's a lot of good validated research behind this. But these three predominant relating styles is some people move toward other people. And they kind of pursue, and they're always like moving toward people and engaging in moving toward. Some people in relationship are always kind of backpedaling, moving away. Like, hey, I need a little space. Hey, I'm backing up. I'm just going to create some space. I'm going to back up. Hey, I'm going to, let this breathe. So there's those that move toward, there's those that move away. And there's another one, and that is those who move against people. And moving against is a relating style. And it's maybe not as dark as it initially sounds. But it's a relating style where there's almost an assumed adversarial relationship or a comfort that somebody might develop in relating with people as though there's something you want, there's something I want, and we've got to negotiate the middle ground. That's how some marriages work. Where, negotiating. And this is like, hey, we live in this constant tension of, hey, I need what I need, you need what you need, we're against each other. And anyway, this isn't about marriage, but about relationships. So there's toward, away, and against. And if each one of us can pause and create some safe self-reflection space, it's really helpful to understand our relating style. And then part two to the relating style is a hard question. We ask ourselves, why? What's my motive? So for me, when I was honest and engaged with those relating styles, I said, I have to acknowledge I'm an away. I frequently find myself creating space in relationships, stepping back, needing less closeness. I move away. And the important thing is, why do I do that? What's my motive? Am I afraid of depth?
Mm-hmm.
Am I just needing some internal processing more?
Mm-hmm.
What's my reason for moving away? It's not inherently good or bad, but what's my motive?
Mm.
And in different times, what's my motive?
Mm-hmm.
Am I moving away because it's easier for me to step away first? Because if I abandon them, they can't abandon me. Oh gosh, that feels a little close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch, there's something I should look at there. Or am I moving away because I really, I'm just an internal processor and a little too much intensity
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes me uncomfortable and scares me off.
Well, the other thing too I've noticed about you is it wears you out. And I think we both can be that way,
Yeah.
where even like parenting two young kids, we both knew when the other person needed a little bit of their own introverted time. I
Yeah.
still have that funny little post-it on our bedroom door where it says, "It's is in your writing," and I cannot take it down, but it says, "You know
I
what
know
I'm
what you're
talking about?"
talking about.
Yeah, it says, "Shh, do not wake mommy. She's resting." And you put that was just something you did for me quite a bit, where you saw that I had given, and then when I thought I couldn't give any more, I gave some more, and I was hitting limits left and right. And you would swoop in and say, "Okay, kids, mom needs some time off, and do not interrupt her. Do not knock on her door. Do not ask for mommy. Do not do anything." And it's the funniest little cutest post-it. And I just remember that was part of our relating styles together, where we knew when each other had hit their
Yeah.
limit. And I would do the same for you. I'd be like, "Okay, kids, we're going to go on a little field trip and let daddy have the house to himself for a little bit."
We have done that well. That post-it, the funny thing about that post-it for our folks trying to picture that, it's on a little like bright post-it.
Yeah.
And I put it on the door. So if our kids walked up to the master bedroom door and they're ready to knock or open it up, they're like, "What's that?" And it says exactly what you said. Don't interrupt. Mom needs rest.
Yeah.
Find dad.
Yeah.
And we took it off. One of us did, and put it on, not on the outside, but on the inside of the door. So it's facing the inside of our bedroom. It's been there for probably 7 years.
I know. I can't take it off because it just makes me chuckle every time. And then I remember thinking, good grief, that was like 2 hours of bliss. How did I not get interrupted? Because that was what I was complaining to you about, going, if I don't get a moment's peace to myself, the kids always run to mommy. And you're like, you were over there going, "This is wonderful. I'm fine." I go, "Because they're running to me all the time."
What's the problem?
What's the problem? So you took care of that, and you put a post-it on mommy's door when she was resting saying, "If you have a question, if you are hungry, if you need a snack, if you want to invite a friend over, whatever's going on in your life, come find daddy."
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's still hanging there.
Yeah, I like that with the relating styles. And I think I like your point too, that there's no shame there. It's understanding it. And if you do need to pull away, I would say I like your idea of think time, introvert. I think what we've learned, even in our family of four, I think we're all ambiverts probably. We love people until we don't, even each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this permission that everybody gets room time, everybody gets me time. And we've made that a really powerful part that I think we hold all three of these in us, relating styles. And there's healthy versions of it and there's unhealthy.
Right.
The healthy version of moving toward is really cultivating relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The unhealthy version of that is codependency and overneeding and basically putting too much on people.
Mm-hmm.
The version of the relating style of pulling away, the healthy version of that, it's like, "Oh, I think my introvert's kicking in. I think I need some me time.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do this." The unhealthy version of that is if you're living out of fear and you're constantly pulling away. And then the healthy version of even the assertive, or what'd you call it? The
against. Mm-hmm.
There's times that we've had to stand up for ourselves, for our kids, for each other, and say, "Oh, no, this is not okay. I am the mother in this situation, and that is not okay for my child." Or I'm the wife here, and I will not allow that to be what happens to my husband, or anything on that manner. And we've had to advocate. That's the healthy side of it. The unhealthy side of it is you're looking for a battle around every corner, and everything becomes a battle. The reality is our relating styles can live in that healthy realm or they can live in the unhealthy realm. Mm-hmm. And you can dip in any three of them as you need to. My hope is, as we're aging, we're holding all three of those in a healthy manner. I know when to withdraw, I know when to pursue, and I know when I need to advocate and move against.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Well, I love what you're bringing to the table. And I guess I'm wondering too, what might be some potential barriers to healthy relationships?
Potential barriers to healthy relationships. That's an interesting question. I think the starting point for me, it's very obvious, but I think it needs to be said. The very obvious starting point is it takes two.
Mm.
It takes two. Mm-hmm. By definition, every relationship is two or more parties.
Sure.
Two ones come together to relate. Mm-hmm. It takes two. So the term healthy for me is kind of a funny term. I don't like health and unhealth
Sure.
but everything's on a continuum. Mm-hmm. To have the best, healthiest relationships, it takes two.
Or a fulfilling relationship.
Who are engaged, honest, committed, mm-hmm. and in it. Mm-hmm. And developing all those tools and working those tools together, that's the makings of a good, fulfilling relationship for both parties. If it's only one party that's getting fulfillment, that's not a good relationship. Mm-hmm. If you're getting fulfillment from a relationship, we should at least be curious, is the other person receiving the same level of fulfillment I am?
Yeah.
At least be curious about that. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a paid relationship like a therapist, you don't have to worry about their fulfillment. They're paid to help you achieve yours.
Yeah, well said.
But if it's a relationship, yes, you and the other, and to ask somebody even at times, how can I be a better friend to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How could I? I feel like I'm struggling right now in our friendship. Mm-hmm. What do you need?
Right.
Boy, that is a bonus question right there. That'll take your friendship to the next level.
For sure. Yeah. I'm also thinking of a recent conversation we had where we were joking about stop drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, it's referencing that awful situation with Jim Jones where he laced the Kool-Aid with cyanide and ended up having everybody in the cult drink it and they died. I think it was back in the 70s. And it became a term for people when they were kind of moving into checking the critical thinking at the door, and it was just becoming group think, and so they would all drink the Kool-Aid. And so we've used that term throughout our historical last couple decades for that. And so I know that sometimes relationships have wanted us to politically align with them, vote like them, religiously align with them, think like them, parent like them, and agree to all that. And I think one of the things that you and I have really been clear about is you don't need to think like us in order for us to have a deep relationship. And it reminds me of someone who came at you because they had another political leaning and they knew your political leaning, but they weren't interested in hearing your political leaning. Mm-hmm. They were interested in being polarizing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I remember how you handled it. I just loved it. I checked out of the conversation because, I don't do those. So I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. They want to talk about these politics and they already know, they already know what they want and they're testing me. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in any polarizing conversation. I'm only interested in bridge conversations.
Right.
So I could already tell where the conversation was going. And I watched you handle it. And you looked at that person, you said, I think we're more alike than you realize. I'd love to talk about what we're both voting for. Mm-hmm. We want our families cared for. We want financial security. And you just went down this list. And I saw this person who was a person who tended to move against people and look for the battle. I saw this person just completely shift their paradigm and say, yeah, I want that too. And I saw you make it safe ground that says, and even if we vote differently and what that might show up are different candidates, that will never interrupt our relationship. I will not think less of you or more of you. depending on how you vote. And that was just one example that I thought, I just would get tired and fatigued and check out these conversations. You actually stayed in it, stayed present, and handled it, but you took it to the level of the relationship.
Yeah.
It says, I care about a relationship, not how you vote.
Yeah.
And isn't our world needing that? And I think that's that running joke we were kind of saying, like, just stop drinking the Kool-Aid, everybody. Start really staying in that space that says, I'm okay, you're okay, we're both humans, and we're all connected. We are all connected on this planet Earth. And if we can find a way to continuously find and nurture that connection versus focusing on the disconnection all the time, I just believe our world will be a better place and our relationships will be stronger and healthier, even if we disagree on some of these topics that we're passionate about.
Right. I love that, Heath. And in our moment right now in the world, I think that is a really important point. I'm glad you brought that up, because the narrative of the world right now, or at least here in North America, is adversarial. That's the messaging of the world. Find out where you are, find out who your enemies are, and this is adversarial. It's like the national narrative of the United States has been hijacked by the against thinking. And I just want to say, no, I reject that. I reject that wholeheartedly. I reject that as a nation. I reject that personally. I will not relate with people that way. And I would encourage folks to think about that. And sincerely, if you've fallen into the trap, and it's understandable if you have, because that's our national narrative, that's our media narrative, to be against. And I say to folks, and I get baited regularly in the conversations I have. People are kind of testing to find out where they think I am. And I don't show my hand to anybody. And somebody asked me outright not too long ago, and I said, oh yeah, I'm a very strong Republican. And as soon as I said I saw their face, and then I said crat, and they're like, I don't know what to think of this guy.
Shoot, I can't put him in his category. Which Kool-Aid is he drinking?
It was so fun, because then I just said kind of that same thing. I said, look, no matter what side of the aisle somebody might fall on politically, I could say 80% of everybody on both aisles want the same things. We want safety. We want health. We want opportunity. We want the ability to live in this type of a place. And it's just true. We want 80% or more of the same things. Let's drop the adversarial thinking. Let's all be Republicrats. And let's say, I don't want what either extreme has. That's the against portion, that 5% on each end. I don't want the big mass in the middle that says, not even that we're Americans. The one that says we're humans.
We're humans.
We're humans. We are one. We are one. And that idea of oneness can take, and it'll revolutionize our relating skills. With masses of people and individually, we're one. We always have more in common with people than we know.
Yeah.
We've never looked into the eye of somebody that we're not related to. Let that sink in for a minute. I've never met somebody I'm not related to, because we're all one human race.
Yeah.
And boy, that's a powerful place to start from relationships. And if we start there, it's amazing what kind of depth we can develop in relationships.
Yeah, and I think that was powerful to watch you bring that person back to the core value.
Yeah.
That I believe is embedded in every human being.
Yes.
We all have a desire for connection and oneness and togetherness. We mistakenly go after these polarizing topics, thinking that we're creating our tribe or our oneness. But we're doing the opposite. So instead of speaking to the topic at hand and to go after the desire to be one, talk about affirming the relationship and talk about calling out every human, a deep longing to be connected and to be seen and loved and valued beyond how they vote or parent or religiously think.
Yes.
Wouldn't that just be talk about going back to your original thing of holding each other's stories?
Yes.
And graciousness and an ease.
Mm-hmm.
There would be this beautiful peace that says, I think we probably could come to solutions instead of worrying about whose tribe we're in.
Right. Right. We're all really in the same tribe. We're in the human tribe.
We are.
And that cuts through everything. And I mean everything. You could take someone who's a deeply faith-filled religious person, and you could take a humanist who says, I'm agnostic or atheist. And if you focus on the right things, we still have so much in common.
Yeah. And we have all those friends in our life, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We don't care how they vote.
Don't care how they vote. I don't care who they worship. I don't care anything except we're in this together. And what's your story? And I'm here for you. You can be here. Let's just kind of see. Maybe this is just a one-time meeting. Maybe, my goodness, maybe we're going to do the next 30 years of life together. We'll see.
Yeah. Well said. What a place to end. As we wrap up, what do you want to leave our audience with?
I want to leave the audience. What's that? Yeah, the encouragement of oneness. I just want to circle back on oneness. Even where we have broken relationships, things that have hurt or maybe driven us apart from somebody else, that's okay. We're not meant to be besties with everybody. And we may have broken family or friendships. We can still care for that person deeply. We can still want the very best for them.
Yeah.
And we can still love them.
Yeah.
We can love them without fully understanding them. And I just stole that line from the closing words of A River Runs Through It.
That's beautiful.
And those who are closest to us are sometimes the most elusive. And we can't seem to get close to them. And they hold us at arm's distance. And we don't have an understanding of why that is, but we can still love them. We can love them without complete understanding.
Wow. Yeah. I've seen that drive you, and that's even behind the scenes with our life and difficult relationships we've encountered. Being able to, I think the term we've used is bless and release.
Yeah.
It's not our job to understand. It's not our job to go after them and course correct them. It's not our job to do any of that. It is our job, though, to love, and how we love them, even if they've unselected us or unchosen us or have caused difficulties for us.
Sure.
I think us being able to say, well, we bless and release so that we don't have a tie to any negativity that we don't want in our world. And we're really standing for that oneness, aren't we?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want the best for them, every one of them.
Yeah.
Friend and foe, so to speak.
So,
want the best.
Yeah. Well said. It's a beautiful place to land. Thanks
for having me back again.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for showing up so well. Take care, everyone. We're cheering you on.
Yes, we are.